All right, everybody, I am here. I am joined today by Lucas from Serosia. How's it going, man?
Today is a glorious day. It's beautiful in Texas. It's about 95 degrees, but it's not, that humid, can't breathe weather. It's just beautiful.
Nice. Yeah, that's kind of how it is up here in Indianapolis. It's hot and warm, but it's bearable, which is good. So, especially for this time of
year. So there you go.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that. It's Friday. And
right.
And you guys are getting ready to hit the road here in a few weeks, I think it is. You're hitting the road with Sevendust, man. How pumped are you?
Right. Oh, man, it's quite exciting time for myself and the band. We're leaving here. Let's see, it's Friday, so we're gone in about 10 days. So, yeah, it's definitely, everybody's eyes are opening up and realizing that, after all these years of preparation, we're going out on our first really major national tour, and everyone's just, out of control, stoked about it.
Yeah, man, and Sevendust is probably, they're one of the best bands you can go out with. They're just a group of nice guys. I mean, some of the nicest guys in the business, and they put on a hell of a show, too. So that's going to be a good show. You guys are up here in Kokomo on the 1st, and I will be at that show, and I am pumped to see this. So.
Very cool. Yeah, we actually, me and my brother, the drummer, Anthony, we used to live in Portage, Indiana, years ago.
Nice.
And so we got some folks that we used to know that from our old town that are going to be coming out. So that's going to be interesting for us because, the last time they saw us, we were getting drunk on Mike's Hard Lemonade at like a too young of an age.
And now look at you now. You're playing with the big boys.
Right. Should be exciting.
And American Fags is on that show. 10 Years is going to be on some of those shows. It's going to be an all-around great tour, man. And like I said, no better group of bands to join yourself with than those bands. I mean, it's just cool to see that. So
yeah, definitely agree. Similar sound across the board, and with us, we have that extremely intense live performance, so that matches right up with Sevendust. So I think the fans will be prepared for that kind of a performance.
Very cool, man. You got the EP, the album out, Variables, which is outstanding. I caught some of it the other night, and very good work, great rock music. Tell me about making that.
It's our fourth EP. We've been a band since 2007, so fourth EP, and we actually, our work ethic is to leave our comfort zone and get out of Texas and get as far away from everything that's comfortable. So for the record, we drove to New Jersey, Hoboken to be specific, and our manager, Cristian Machado, who's also a singer for Nino, is the producer on that, and had us come out. And what was cool about the particular record that we're speaking of is we did 6 to 8 months of pre-production with Cristian through the internet, and that was a great tool for us because it's the first time we've been able to do that much pre-production on anything. So when we went in, it wasn't like just meeting everybody for the first time and them hearing the songs for the first time. We were all on the same page. Everyone knew the songs, and it was just really exciting to get in there and be able to vibe with the studio, and just felt like a big, long hangout session that was work nonstop.
Nice. Yeah, man, you mentioned that you brought the producer in for the whole process. How does because a lot of people don't realize, a lot of bands will do a record all on their own and produce it, it can do well. But then there's the process of bringing in a producer and doing it professionally from start to finish. A lot of people don't realize how big of a difference that can make. Can you explain how having a producer in the studio and all that for the whole process kind of helped you guys in ways that you didn't expect it to?
Yeah, I mean, it differs from any recording that we've done in that aspect alone, that the others we, did our own pre-production. You get into the studio and you have these songs just like glued in your head, and, if a producer at that point or somebody, an engineer, wants to change anything, you're just so attached to the song, it's so much harder to make a change or like try and understand where they're coming from on their change, because a fresh ear is great. And you get so attached to your song, sometimes you'll miss something where just this little nuances just changes the whole song, and once it's put in place by a producer, the whole song is made at that point. And I would say it's an extremely important thing. I think there's definitely something to be said about producing yourself too, because we're all about do-it-yourself stuff, but on the front of really wanting to get across the board, epic rock album or EP, going with a producer that you trust that has a similar taste in music is definitely something that I would recommend after that experience, because it brings out a lot in your band that you didn't know was there. And for me particularly, I was lucky enough that our producer was a singer, and a internationally known singer that sings the same style of music as we do, or at least pretty close. And for me, that was, I was extremely confident going in. A little bit nervous because, you got a guy who's known and definitely he's paid his dues. And I'm going in there just, hoping that I don't mess up. And he was just totally cool the whole way. He's like one of the nicest guys we've met in the music scene. So as far as being produced, just be comfortable, I would say. If you're uncomfortable, then you're probably not with the right guy.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that when you're doing an album all by yourselves, a lot of times, like you mentioned, you can get really attached to certain songs. And when you bring somebody in who is not a part of the band, who didn't work on those songs, they can really give a different point of view, because they're not as attached to the song as you are, so they can point out things that maybe you didn't see or that you didn't notice. Because they're listening to it from the point of view of, if I'm going to go out and buy this record, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm hearing. Instead of, and I think it, like you said, it gives a different perspective that I think is really valuable that a lot of people may not get because they do every record by themselves. I think every band needs to at least use a producer for at least part of one record in their career, just so they can get both sides of it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of younger artists go into it thinking it's like you use a producer just so you can create hits or singles, or it's just a hit factory with a producer that's trying to spit that out. Really what it is, you always want to go and create the best song that you can that'll, a broad amount of people are going to listen to. But really, it's just to make your band well-rounded so that your album still has an album feel to it rather than just song by song, single by single. Even though the market kind of is just singles, it seems like, there's still availability out there for people to want to have a full record that has the album feel, and that's how we work. We love albums, not just singles, and that's what we created with Variables.
I think the rock industry, rock fans are more likely to listen to a record from start to finish than maybe fans of rap or hip hop or pop. Because a lot of those artists they're really just making a record around a song. Their careers are based on one song or two songs, and people will go for all that. But rock fans, rock bands are notorious for at least 5 or 6 or 7 songs on a record being really good, really well written, and having really good substance and meaning. And I think rock fans are more likely to listen to a record from start to finish. I agree. Yeah, I mean, there's always going to be those fans here and there that they know a band for that song or one song, but yeah, I think rock fans listen to a record from start to finish more often than others do.
Yep.
So, but yeah, like you mentioned, you brought Cristian from El Nino in on this, and you guys know each other really well now. And what better guy to bring in than Cristian? I mean, like you said, the guy's been around, he's done it all, and definitely I think that he really contributed to a great final product on this. Can you tell me how that relationship started and developed?
Yeah, like I said, we started in 2007 as Serosia, early 2007. I think April would be a month to pin it down to. And recorded our first EP here locally in Dallas. It was The Current State of Being. And within, I would say, 3 or 4 months, we had hit 1 million plus hits on MySpace at the time, which was, I guess, huge. And Cristian somehow, through that medium, contacted us, sent us a message on MySpace, and said, my production company heard you and brought you to my attention, and I really like what I hear. And he gave us some pointers on the songs that we had at the time, and we really appreciated it at the time because it was out of nowhere, and all of us grew up being fans of El Nino, so it was really exciting. They had asked us to do our second EP with them, but for one reason or another, the budget really wasn't fully there. But ironically, we ended up going to Jersey and recording with a different studio, which was like a town away from theirs. But we had already committed at the time where Cristian had asked us, so we really couldn't do it. And then, throughout the years, we stayed in contact, showing him the songs and stuff, and told him we were eventually going to work with him. When when El Nino would come through town in Dallas, we would always play the shows opening for them, or Fort Worth, or anywhere kind of surrounding. So it all made sense that when we finally got to our fourth record and we had the budget to go out to Jersey, we knew we were going to do that and let him know about a year in advance. So we just started doing the pre-production, like I said, about 6 or 8 months beforehand. So when we went out there, we were all prepared to go. And as far as a friendship, that's definitely there. As far as a business relationship, that's there. And we couldn't ask for a better friend and a manager there. It's someone who actually believes in your band is the most key thing that you can have coming up, because there's I think Chino Marino said it in that Cypress Hill song. There's a bunch of sharks out there trying to take a bite.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. So many.
Yeah, you really got to be careful with who you trust in the music business too sometimes, because a lot of people are just there, to try and get something from you and not give anything back. And I think that sums that up perfectly. What are some of the best pieces of advice you've received, maybe from Cristian or just anybody in the industry that's really helped you, that maybe you could pass along to other bands trying to maybe try to get on bigger shows or maybe get their break? What are some of the pieces of advice you've received that you could pass on that have really worked?
The one that comes to the forefront of my mind would be through several artists, most recently Cristian, but be real and be yourself, and don't conform to somebody else's sound or somebody else's look, or don't conform. Be yourself. If your music moves you like ours moves us, then you should have the confidence that it's going to take you to the level that you want it to. And that's what we've always done. It took us a while to get to this tour and to get on the level that we're starting to level off on. But, we stayed consistent. We stayed our sound. We didn't let anybody really change us. Even with the producing of Cristian, it was more of like a help than it was a do this, do that. Kind of just a shaping of what we already had. So my advice that was given to me, I would definitely say, be real, be yourself, and don't let that change unless somebody's helping you along to become a better you. And in that case, that's one thing, but that's something we talk about pretty often with Cristian, honestly, is just don't lose sight of the fact that you do this because you love it, before anything. And that really is key, because people relate to music, and when you have a fan that will contact you and let you know that a song changed their life or whatnot, you don't want that song to be one that you think of and you're like, yeah, well, that was written by a producer. They don't know it, and I'll never tell them. But, in my heart, I know that I wrote the lyrics for that song. I know what it meant to me, and it's just the connection is so much more there, and the people that hear it understand that, and they can read you like a book,
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I guess that's one reason that I prefer rock as opposed to other genres, is because it is just more real, and so many bands now are honest, and there's a group of rising artists right now who their records and their music are just so honest and real, and you can detect that. And I think that fans pick up on that a lot easier, and I think that that's why rock is making is on the rise again right now, because there's just this huge movement right now of bands that are using that mindset, and it's really paying off, and it's really cool to see right now.
Absolutely. I'm glad to see it too.
Yeah, definitely. And a lot of the bands who kind of went away for a little bit are coming back and doing well again, which is cool to see as well.
Yep.
So, talk to me a little bit about, writing. What is a lot of artists have a process when it comes to writing a song, and some artists don't have a process at all. Something hits them, and it just comes out. What is it like for you?
Personally, or I guess I should say, in Serosia, it's kind of everybody. It's not a free for all necessarily, but everybody has a say in every instrument and in song structure and all that. And any song can begin really from anywhere. A lot of times it's a guitar riff, and I think that across the board in most bands, a guitar riff is just one of those standard things. You got a good riff, you can kind of write around that. But in our band, we go with the flow, and if Anthony comes in, he's got this sick drum beat. Everybody in the band can kind of vibe with it and go with it if it's something that works out. If Joseph comes in, our bass player, with a guitar idea, he grabs a guitar and writes a guitar part, and then everyone kind of vibes with that. We on Variables, the song "The Architect" is one of our favorite because that was actually written with the concept of what the lyrics were going to be about, and pretty much all the lyrics being written before the song even had music. We wanted to write the music around the lyrics, kind of do that approach because we had such a strong emotion about what we wanted to sing about, which was, you kind of build your own reality around you. And the more you realize that you're doing that, the more you realize that it's happening to you in your own life. And that was like the main push in that song. And once we created the words, and they meant so much to us as individuals, creating the music around it was a lot easier, and you can really, put yourself in that position, and, it feels a certain way, and it sounded a certain way, and that's I think, what we captured in the music.
Very cool, man. That's awesome, man. And like I said, I caught some of the music not too long ago, a couple days ago, and man, I'm impressed myself. I really had some of it playing just on repeat the other night while I was doing some work, and a lot of the music you guys make, you can listen to it on repeat and loop it, and you don't want to turn it off. It just, you continue listening, and you really get into it. It's really cool. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much.
So, man, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys in October on the 1st, and it's going to be a great show. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. It's been outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it, man. Thank you.
Thank you, and we will see you on October 1st in Kokomo.
All right, we'll see you out there, guys.
All right, man. We'll take it easy.
All right, bye-bye.
See ya.